Now, our next speaker will be Dmitry Livanov, Rector of National University of Science and Technology, the MISIS, one of the earliest research universities in the country. Let me use the example of our university to tell you about our experience of internationalization of higher education. We have to realize it's not a matter of choice. It's a matter of survival for Russian higher education in the global situation, in the global competitive situation that we face today and that we're going to face in the future. Without doubt, there are four components that can ensure the success of a university. The speakers before me mentioned them. They are the students, they are the academic staff, researchers and instructors. It's the management structure and the infrastructure, the campus infrastructure of the university. If these four things are present, then you have a good world-class university. And a research university has to have these four components in place and not just do research. A research university has to be on the level of global standards here. Now, if we look at our case and at the students that we have, the key to success here is globally competitive curricula. If they can compete with what other university centers in the world have to offer, then you will get good students, not just from Russia or the CIS countries, but from anywhere in the world. What we do for our bachelor level students now is ensure a deeper, more serious level of instruction in English. This new academic year, we used to introduce a new and absolutely unique curriculum in English that will be realized together with Cambridge University Press using interactive educational techniques. And this required not just a physical reconstruction of part of our building, which we did. We re-equipped a whole section of our premises, and we had to rearrange our curriculum programs and also re-educate our teachers to work in a new way. Another radically important thing is discontinuing the practice of sectoral orientation of Russian universities. Russian universities first emerged at the time of the Industrial Revolution, and they just don't fit the requirements of today's post-industrial world. So we'll have to stop being too sectorally oriented. We are introducing general engineering and operation management degrees that are not dependent on a particular sector of the economy. This is something that the Soviet Union didn't do, that's not present in Russia today. We are the pioneers here, and we're going to use the experience of foreign universities. We'll offer these degrees to all our bachelor students starting from 2011. And of course, research has to be an integral part of master's studies. And it's extremely important to have our master's schools comply with the requirements of today's research, unlike our candidate's degree studies that follow the old pattern. Our next area of concern is the quality of our academic staff and the level of their remuneration. We had to review and reassess the quality of our teaching staff. We discovered that 10 to 15% were below standards, and we're not going to keep those people in our staff. Some 15% turned out to be really valuable research staff. They will get an increase of their pay and a halving of their teaching time. They're more like 20% of our staff. The next big area of our work is management. The management structure needs to be more transparent. Until Russian universities have managers with experience of working in what we call the real sector of the economy, or in internationally recognized universities, we encourage such people to come and join our staff and help us shape the managerial team that will make our university successful. And the last component is what I call the infrastructure. The campuses of Russian universities are obsolete. They can't be improved. They have to be rebuilt from scratch. That requires huge investment. But unless we make this investment, we stand no chance. I mean, even the best of Russian universities stand any chance of global competition. Thank you very much. Mr. Vladimir Mao, Rector of the Academy of the National Economy, also a university that has a lot of international programs. You have 5 minutes, sir. Good afternoon, colleagues. My task is made easier by previous speakers with whom I fully agree. Then you have 4 minutes. Now, I'll take all of 6. I'll speak about 3 points specifically. As we're here to discuss the quality of Russian education, I want to talk about demand for high-quality education. My second point will be how we can provide this high-quality education in our universities. And thirdly, I'd like to discuss some myths that exist around Russian higher education. Now, demand for high-quality education, as an economist, I have to say that the demand for this high-quality education has dropped. A resource-rich economy does not require a particularly high-quality education. Many people associate it with the crisis of the Soviet system, but in fact, it's that back in the 1970s, it was a global trend, or at least a trend that manifested itself here. An oil and gas-based economy requires or has laxer requirements for the quality of education than a coal and steel-based economy. And we have to realize that this is so. Another myth that exists is the belief in the high quality of Soviet time higher education, which was indeed a sectoral-based system, a system that was supposed to provide a person with specialty for life. It was one of the best in the world for the 1930s. It was the best kind of education for a country that had literacy problems, but it will not do today. And the third aspect of that is the false or sham demand for education, which is affected by the military drafting system. Many people use universities as a way to dodge army service. And this is often a way to allow for lower quality education, because there is some demand for any quality as long as this allows people to dodge the army. I agree with my colleagues on what they said about the sources of quality. See, post-industrial society often reminds me of pre-industrial society. In the pre-industrial society, for instance, there was a universal language. We have one too, a different one, but still we have it. And I always say that the issue of educational standards depends on my deputy for curricula. I don't want to hear about that as a rector. They have to know about that, and they have to be able to explain it to the ministry. For instance, the issue of teaching our courses in English are not an issue, really. It is something to be simply organized. Now, we are today departing from the Gumboldtian model of education and beginning to use an individual based education. There is also this army draft factor here. Many people choose to continue as students until they turn 28 and become exempt from army service. You can see it as a joke, but this is something that we don't really need to discuss too seriously here if we are looking at the core questions. The international nature of our curricula is again something that needn't be argued about. We all agree about that. Now, this double diploma program, I'm a little bit doubtful of that. We don't do double diplomas between two Russian universities, do we? Each good university with a good reputation wants to make sure its diploma is only issued by itself. Why should we expect international universities of good quality to confer the double diplomas on our graduates? So perhaps they're not the best quality. So I think a more productive idea would be an opportunity for somebody to get a degree from a Russian university and then go on and study for another year or two somewhere in Europe and get a second degree. Another thing that is much discussed is the new technologies in education, which should not be confused with simply buying your degree over the internet. Now, new technologies here are practiced by many universities, including ours. For instance, our Global Challenge simulation game is quite popular.